In January 2023, my wife and I decided to set off on a road trip from Singapore to Hatyai, Thailand. As we are joining other like-minded motorists from the Automobile Association of Singapore, we decided to set off early and reach Galang Patah R&R by 6:30 a.m. in the morning. As my naturally aspirated 4.5-litre V8 is a really thirsty beast, we had to stop for a petrol stop before we head into town at Tangkat. Our first food stop of the day is for bak kut teh at restaurant Jia Jia. Within 30 minutes, we polished off our absolutely delicious and hearty breakfast and was ready to hit the road at 9 a.m. We wanted to reach Ipoh in time for lunch, which is about 365 kilometers away from our breakfast point. At around 2 p.m., we reached Ipoh. Ipoh was originally a small village. However, in the late 1800s, there was a massive tin mining rush, and Ipoh flourished since then. We originally wanted to have lunch at Hung To restaurant, but it was closed. So we decided to settle for a bowl of curry noodles from Kedai Kopi Sun Yuan Fung instead. And no trip to Ipoh is complete without some absolutely delicious egg tarts from Nam Hyong. To work off the calories from lunch, we decided to walk around and explore Ipoh Old Town, absorbing the sights, sounds, and smell that came with the rich history and culture of Ipoh Town. As Lunar New Year is only a couple of weeks away, you can see that Ipoh Town is all ready to welcome the new year. We were absolutely amused by these curry buns that were so massive they're bigger than our heads, but we just had no space in our stomach for more.
But we stuck it out. Today's our day. Today's our day.
The first place we were gonna spend our nights is in the Wheel Hotel. The hotel very graciously allowed us to park near the lobby so that they can keep an eye on our cars. We were absolutely impressed with the service, the spaciousness, and the cleanliness at Whale Hotel, and I can say it is the best hotel that we stayed during this trip. One of the biggest advantages of staying at the Whale Hotel is that it is attached to the Ipoh Parade Shopping Mall, which is filled with a lot of modern shops, restaurants, and amenities we Singaporeans are usually accustomed to. Our first dinner of the trip is at Manchong Seafood Restaurant. We thoroughly enjoyed the roast suckling pig, which had a crackling crispy skin accompanied by a thin layer of flavorful fat. After the heavy dinner we had the night before, we decided to have some light dim sum at Main Court for breakfast.
We'll make it out and fall in love tonight. Ain't nothing.
After breakfast, we took a short 20-minute drive to a pomelo agriculture farm.
Wait and see, you and me, we were meant to be. We were meant to be. We were meant to be.
At the Tambun Pomelo Gochin Agro Farm, you get to see firsthand how pomelos are grown on trees.
Lord bless you.
There are guided tours and free talks on this 40-year-old farm. There are also samples of various fruits you can try, and you may decide to buy home a couple of them yourself.
Believe in second chances.
Not only are pomelo grown on this farm, but you can expect jackfruits, guava, as well as a couple of durian trees.
That you belong. You are strong, you are brave, you are all you meant to be. Everything.
As there are quite a number of durians connoisseurs in our group, we couldn't resist grabbing a couple of durians to sample, and you can tell from the look of our faces that these were absolutely fragrant, flavorful, and had a really rich texture.
When you were 12, your brother said, I was
The next place on our itinerary is Kek Lok Thong.
sad through it all. When you were 16, your auntie said, I remember my first broken heart.
Kek Lok Thong is a sprawling 12 acres of limestone caves.
The world spins badly on.
It houses a temple that is funded by public donations, and you can find many interesting and beautiful Buddhist sculptures.
Everything you ever dreamed came true.
As you stand inside the cave, you will be in awe of the wonders that nature has created over thousands of years that resulted in these beautiful caves. As you move beyond the caves, you can find a beautiful garden that is impeccably manicured by the devotees and the volunteers at this place.
Worked hard and never said quit.
After an entire morning of visiting farms and exploring caves, our stomachs were beginning to rumble.
And everything
But we couldn't resist stopping by Mingyue Confectionery for some legendary peanut candy. But be warned, the queues here can be as long as 1 hour, and you are limited to just 2 kilograms per person. Lunch is at Taki, just across the road from Mingyue Confectionery. So Taki restaurant specializes in roast meats such as roast duck, roast pork, and char siu. After lunch, we hit the road for more sightseeing.
God for you.
Kelly's Castle is a huge but uncompleted mansion that was built by a Scottish plantation owner, William Kelly Smith. The castle, which is rumored to be haunted, is inspired by Scottish as well as Tamil Indian architecture. Kelly Smith brought in more than 70 craftsmen from Madras, India, and the bricks and marble that was used in the construction of this castle were also imported from India. In the plans for this sprawling 6-story tower was Malaya's first elevator, an indoor tennis court, and a rooftop courtyard for entertaining. Getting to the next location was really tricky for a slow-slung car that we were driving. We spotted more than 30 ridiculously high humps, and they were unpainted and difficult to spot. Thankfully, we had a front nose lifter on our car and managed to clear it without much fanfare. The really tight and narrow roads meant that we had to squeeze past trucks and buses, which was a little worrying for our Italian Cavallino. The Gaharu Valley is an agar wood plantation just located outside Kopeng, Perak.
My grandfather 是做官嘛
Oh.
in China 做官 from Singapore. He come to Singapore and then he work for the
Gaharu is the Malay word for agar wood, and agar wood is highly prized for its powerful exotic fragrance as well as its medicinal and health properties. This Gaharu tree plantation spans 300 acres with over 200,000 organically cultivated trees of various ages. Tea made from Gaharu leaves has been known to help reduce blood sugar levels, lower blood pressure, improve sleep quality, treat hangovers, constipation, flatulence, gout, and asthma.
Make it
There is a 20-minute guided minivan tour around the estate. One of the highlights of this tour is to hug the trunk of a mature Gaharu tree, which is believed to be auspicious.
nights all night.
Our hearts skipped a couple of beats at the narrow road that we had to share with big trucks and buses when getting out of Gaharu Tea Valley.
We were meant to be.
Dinner for this evening is at restaurant Cowan Street, Ayam Tauge and Kway Teow. The ridiculously long and never-ending queue outside this establishment is testament to how good this really is. The liver is soft, tender, and has no weird smell, and the chicken intestines, which are really hard to come by in Singapore, is a real treat here. In my opinion, this is one of the top 3 most delicious food I had on this trip. How delicious, you might ask. I am willing to endure a 6-hour drive from Singapore just to eat this. After the glorious cacophony of the naturally aspirated V8 engine in that tunnel, it is now time to take on some twisties.
All you meant to be, everything you ever dreamed came true. When you laughed,
The long sweeping roads with a beautiful scenery is a sight to behold. Fuel in Malaysia is cheaper and of a much higher quality than those available in Thailand, so we stopped for a top-up of our fuel tank. Now that our cars have been fed, it is time to fill our bellies before we head into Hatyai, Thailand. Nasi Lemak Ong is one of the famous eateries located in Alor in the state of Kedah. I have to admit, this Nasi Lemak is quite different from the ones that we are accustomed to in Singapore and Johor Bahru. The gravy is rich and there is a generous use of asam pedas, which gives the food a nice, sour and tangy and spicy taste. You will need to get third-party car insurance when entering Thailand, and there are shops along the way that help you to do that. These shops will also help you to fill in the import and export forms that you need to get your car into the Thai border. At Thai immigration, you have to let your passengers alight and they have to go through the passenger counter, and only the driver is allowed to drive through.
When we're older, we will say, what a life, I think we made it. We worked hard.
As easy as that, we are now in Thailand.
Traffic here don't follow, the local don't follow law. Yeah, so must be extra careful with all the motorcycles.
The quality of the roads in Hatyai is not as good as those in Malaysia or definitely Singapore, and we had to be a lot more careful as it was also drizzling.
When you laugh, when we cry, I'll be always on.
My car was too low and we couldn't get down to the basement car park without sacrificing our front and rear bumpers, so we had to settle with parking by the roadside. We stayed at the Centera Hotel in Hatyai, and you might be able to tell from this video that it is a little older than the previous hotels that we have stayed in. However, that is a small price to pay as the Centera is located right smack in the middle of Hatyai town. There's no better way to get to our dinner venue than to hop on an iconic tuk-tuk. With heavy traffic congestion in the heart of town, the tuk-tuk is a very efficient and cost-effective way to get around. We had our very first meal in Thailand at a place called Sabanga. This is located in a self-contained bungalow with a very clean, cozy environment. Service was impeccable and there were a lot of iconic Thai dishes that were absolutely delicious. Some of the highlights are the rice that is boiled with the blue pea flour and the red ruby dessert. Hatyai is known for its bird's nest, and we decided to head to Borapa's bird's nest, also known as Yen Wo Da Wang, for a bowl of this nourishing and delectable dessert. Barbecued freshwater bighead prawns are really popular among the street vendors. We had just a little light breakfast at the hotel as we are going to be heading out to have some street food. We are shopping around Kim Yong Market, where you can get a great selection of dried food, snacks, as well as souvenirs. Coagulated pig's blood is something you can no longer get in Singapore, and I make it a point to have my fill of these when I am out of the country. Here we are trying a bowl of pig organ soup, and that includes a generous serving of pig's blood. For lunch, we are headed out to the Samila beach, where the famous Golden Mermaid sculpture is located. Sujinda's seafood restaurant is located by the sea, and you can take a romantic walk down the beach while waiting for your food to be prepared. You get the usual big head freshwater prawns, horseshoe crab, cockles, fish, and a huge variety of different seafoods prepared in any way imaginable. The 105-meter Tangwan Hill is one of the more interesting sights within the Songkhla city. It is one of the best ways to appreciate the beauty of Songkhla from a high viewpoint. There is an ornately decorated temple and staircases at the top of the hill, and be awed by the view you can get of the city from the top. Songkhla Old Town is a heritage district with a fantastic display of architecture, street art, and cuisine blending both the Far East and Western cooking styles.
We were meant to be.
One of the more popular attractions in Songkhla Old Town is the Ban Nakhon Nai Museum of King Rama IX. King Rama IX reigned from 1946 to 2016 and is well respected and loved by the Thais as the king was involved in many social and economic development projects to help the poor. This museum is located at one of the old Sino-Portuguese style house, and it has been renovated into a museum. You can find many unique and unseen photos of the late King Rama IX in this museum. What better way to rest your tired feet with a hot cup of coffee or a cold latte at the Cafe de Si Nakhon Nak while overlooking the beautiful Lake Songkhla. Near our hotel at Centara Hatyai, there is this place that's roast suckling pig by the side of the road. This was so interesting to watch, and the suckling pig was so nice that I was just mesmerized by it, and I forgot to take the address or the name of the shop. However, if you were to just walk around Centara Hatyai, you would definitely not miss this shop that is doing roast suckling pig by the roadside. After walking around the night market, we were feeling a little peckish, so we headed out for some supper for some dry and wet beef or fun. The Hatyai leg of our road trip is finally over, and here we are at a Thailand petrol kiosk for a little break before we head to Penang. It has been a great 2 nights at Hatyai, as we are now at the Thai border heading back to Malaysia.
When we're older, the kids will say, to take heart. You are strong, you are brave, you are all you're meant to be. Everything you ever dreamed came true. When you laugh,
we were greeted by a scenic sea view as we traveled on the Penang Bridge to get to Penang Island for our lunch.
thank God for you and me.
The Penang Bridge is 13.5 kilometers long, and it connects Penang with mainland Malaysia. The bridge was inaugurated on 14 September 1985, and this is the first road connection between Peninsular Malaysia and this island.
Cannot be denied.
With a length over water of 8.5 kilometers. This bridge is well known as the second longest bridge in Malaysia and the fifth longest in Southeast Asia by total length.
Every day when the sun rises, I feel love beating down my door.
Our first meal in Penang is lunch at Wind's Cafe, which is an authentic Nyonya food place. This restaurant is extremely popular with Penang people, and you can see why.
拍一拍我的干妈，你看，哇，偌烧哇咧，你看，我爱盐烧喎，哇，偌烧咧。
One of their signature dishes is nasi ulam and is packed with flavors and tastes as authentic as when I had it a long time ago. You get layers of flavors from fresh herbs, and the wok hei of the rice is just impeccable. Here is how dirty the car is after a 6-day road trip across Malaysia and Thailand. The hotel we will be staying in Penang is Hotel Jan. The hotel met our expectations. The bed was comfortable and the toilets were clean. After checking into our hotel, we couldn't wait but to try the Penang Road famous legendary chendol. This is a Teochew style which is a little different from the ones in Malacca. We also had to try the Penang Asam Laksa, which is supposedly a famous item here.
Make it out, but we stuck it out. Today's our day. Today's our day.
For dinner, we headed to New Lane Street Food Stalls, which is located at Lorong Baru of Georgetown.
We'll make it out and fall in love tonight. Ain't nothing needed but us feeling right. Just take a chance, we got a while.
As we were all still really full from lunch and chendol and asam laksa, we decided to share among us char kway teow, chai tao kueh, oyster omelette, couple of sticks of satay. The one souvenir you must bring back from Penang is the tau sa pia from Hin Hiong. This makes for a fantastic gift to your friends and family. Chiu Jetty was one of the 5 wooden jetties constructed in 1888 as part of a developmental project on the quayside in Georgetown. 2 other wooden jetties were built in the same area in the 1960s, but one of the jetties burnt down, which means that there are now 6 remaining. Chiu Jetty has been gazetted as a UNESCO heritage site in 2008, but it remains something of a historical time warp. The next place we visited is the Penang Peranakan Mansion, and this is recreated to be like the typical home of a rich Baba over a century ago. The Peranakans, also known as Baba and Nonyas, was a prominent community of a Chinese unique to this part of the world, especially in the Straits Settlement, which includes Penang, Malacca, and Singapore. Adopting selected ways of local Malays and later on the colonial British, the Peranakans had created a unique lifestyle and customs and left behind a rich legacy of antiques and cultural influences. This mansion has been neglected for many decades, but it has now been restored to its former glory. The Wonder Food Museum in Penang is the next place on our itinerary. And here we explore one of the most original museums in the world, featuring giant displays of traditional Malaysian dishes. This is located inside one of Georgetown's 1940s colonial building, and this place invites you into the world of super realistic models of popular dishes handcrafted by the museum's owners using food replication techniques from Japan. We took a quick tour of Kapitan Keleng Mosque, a graceful 19th century monument set among landscape grounds.
Jeremy, you're great with this. Really, this capture the memory.
Long sticks.
Yeah. Long stick.
When you were 16, you're on to 6.
Restaurant Kimberly Kwan Kee has got to be one of the biggest highlights of my trip. I really love the braised duck kway chap that is available here. The meat is soft, tender, silky, and they've got all the duck innards, which I love. The one that I really enjoyed the most was coagulated duck's blood, which is not available in Singapore. The texture of their kway chap is quite different from that available in Singapore. I actually prefer this version as it has a much better texture, which is quite unlike the one available in Singapore. I love the coagulated duck blood so much that I had an entire bowl of it all by myself.
We're checking out now, and we're gonna try to fit all of this into this.
As we were driving a car with very limited cargo space, we had to be very mindful of what we bought and what we brought along with us. Thankfully, we were able to squeeze all of it in. We decided to take a different route out of Penang, and we used the Sultan Abdul Halim Muazzam Shah Bridge, also commonly known as Penang's second bridge. The total length of this bridge is 24 kilometers, making this the longest bridge in Malaysia and the second longest in Southeast Asia. The first thing we did upon reaching Malacca is to look for food. And we had satay at Sun Mei Hiong Satay House. This is rather unique because you also get pork liver and intestines as satay, which is normally not found in Singapore.
Nope. Chicken and pork.
After lunch, we were just too full with food to walk, so we took a drive around Malacca town.
Oh, this song upon my soul, and I gotta let the whole world know. Every day when the sun rises, I feel love beating down my door. Every night when the moon is shining, I pray you'll be coming back for more.
The heritage walk up to the hilltop. Okay, now we go down to the red houses, take photo, group photo. Then we go up to the
Settle down a while. Tell me everything you're free.
We checked out the old Portuguese alignment wall,
Will not be denied.
as well as the Malacca Fort Gallery, which gave us a beautiful view of the Malacca River.
Every day when the sun rises.
For the last night of our entire trip, we will be staying at the hotel in Malacca.
Every night when the moon is shining, I pray you'll be coming back for more.
Can you say hi to the camera?
We're in the hotel.
Hotel toilet. Can you see the bathtub?
Every night when the moon is shining, I pray you'll be coming back for more.
The last dinner that we are having as a group is at Tongsheng. Here again we had a lo hei. For the final part of our journey, we decided to break away from the convoy to look for some really nice rolling hills, driving roads, twisties, and stretch the legs of this Italian prancing horse.
Tonight's our night. I'll fight for you until this life is over. There's no giving up here, babe. We'll make it out and fall in love tonight. Ain't nothing needed but us feeling right. Just take a chance, we got a wild ride.